So I'm Justin Mills, and today I'm going to be talking about impact of social media on American voter influence. So my research question is, to what degree has social media usage had on voter influence? So prompted advertising. So many people on social media read information based off of their interests and what they look at every single day when they pick up their phone or laptop or things like that. Um, when liking a page, users are prompted and are showed various information about what they liked on the specific apps. Um, so if there's a certain topic that you looked up or you looked at, um, your the social media app does have control over what information they show you and what information that you will receive on a daily basis, because every time that you swipe up and you look for new information, it controls what it shows you based off what you've already looked at in your history. And this picture right here to the right is just an example of him receiving information, not specifically what's on it, but just him receiving information of the same person, him receiving information about what about the election and different things that has to do with voting. And some of it, as you can see, some of it says get the facts about mail-in ballots. So social media apps do say that, but they will still show you the information even though they do sometimes say it's not true. And his feed is full of the same type of information. There's no diversity when it comes to it. So right here I have a chart about social media growth over the 2010s. So over here it says daily hours spent with digital media. And so as you can see here, with the green, it's laptops, desktops. And as you can see, it's pretty mediocre. It's pretty like, it stays the same, because as the years have gone on, the usage of phones and the usage of mobile devices, especially in teens and kids, has gone up a lot with more advanced technology. And all that is just more, it's more room for people to receive false or information that social media companies do regulate. And the main thing that when that comes to it, especially in recent time, has come with the election, whether it's false information or whether it's information that is very extreme, that that it's all based off one thing that you look up. You look up one topic that has to do with like bombs in China. You're gonna receive all information about that on your feed when it comes in the future. So location while using social media. So certain areas, social media and political people in power do target um, based off their location and where they are in the United States, and based off where they live at, because they have control over way more than the American people think. Um, so, and the cool app here says, you ever go on Twitter to see the top trending hashtags and are surprised to see a few of them apply to your current town? That's no coincidence, because they do know where you live at, and they do know where you're staying in the general area. So they do have control and can regulate what you see and how you see it and what exact information they give you, because every second that you are looking, that they are showing you that information. So my solutions. So social media app regulators need to take more control over the political action that takes place on their app or site. Because political people in power are having too much control over what they are telling social media companies to see, and social media regulators need to take more control and limit the amount of false information that comes out from any political party that goes out onto the internet. And people need to see the whole entire point of view, not just a point of view based off something that they searched up. They need to see the whole entire side, not just one side based off something that they looked up. So here are my sources, and then any questions for me?
All right, yeah, 2 questions. How reliable were those sources that you had, and how do you know that they were reliable?
So the sources I knew were reliable because, well, one of the sources that I did have was not reliable, because it was he worked for Twitter. The author did work for Twitter. So there were some sources that I did not use, that I used that were not reliable, that I later took out of my PowerPoint. But the sources that I did have were all people that are looking from both sides of view. They're not sitting one side as just a regular app user. They're using from both sides, from what they see and what I see from my point of view.
Okay, and if someone was doing this topic again in the future, what advice would you have for them?
Some advice I would have for them is just to really there was a lot of biased information out there, if I'm being really honest. It was really hard to find sources that were going to give you the whole entire side. There was a lot of bias, a lot of former people that worked for these social media companies that were trying to tell the truth, but it wasn't really, I couldn't use it because it wasn't showing both sides of you. They were just showing their side of you as a former worker of the company. So I feel like if somebody else is doing it, just really make sure that you get true information.